After 18 years, Dave Dale's time with the North Bay Nugget is coming to an end. The multimedia journalist is known for his very frank opinion columns for many, many years, his memorable photos capturing news, weather, and sports events over the past 2 decades. Our Clarke Heipel sat down with Mr. Dale to reflect on his time with the local paper. Here's part 1.
August 8th, 2000, first assignment was going to the police board with Colin Vesna as chairman.
That is well-known photojournalist Dave Dale. His last day at the North Bay Nugget this Friday. He's not retiring and he didn't get laid off. He is leaving on his own terms, having taken a voluntary buyout package. It is time to reflect for Dale, looking back at his 18 years at the local newspaper.
I was going through a bunch of the papers because I was cleaning out my, filing cabinets and stuff, and about 6,000 daily newspapers I was involved with over 18 years. So I think I still had most of them, so I had to throw it a lot.
While Dale has recently been featured in the sports section of the paper predominantly, his main focus for most of the 18 years was news. He recalls an early breaking news assignment that solidified his spot in the newsroom.
I remember in my first year there was a tragedy over Mattawa, and 2 planes collided, and I remember being one of 3 vehicles racing out the Mattawa with Denny Dubois was racing out there, Arnie Hakala, and myself. I remember that really clearly. I was out trying to find, I took a picture of the yellow plane, and Denny had the picture of the red plane, and it was on the front page, and that was one of my first real hard news stories with the Nugget.
Over nearly 2 decades, plenty of technological advances, and technology can be expensive, can it?
Well, when I first got the Nugget, I had to buy an SLR 35mm. Spent $1,500 on a telephoto lens, and then motor drive, the whole bit. I was all souped up, and within 2 years, we went digital, and they were no longer soup and film, and no longer at first. Then we went to the 1 hour. Then it was all digital.
Digital photos made way for internet news. It's been a tricky transition for newspapers worldwide.
It's a challenging thing. It's hard to really measure things good and bad. I don't think it's good for the industry because it hasn't been able to react very well to it. None of them have. Although they try, and they're going to find their way at some point. But I don't think a fickle readership online is going to be an easy market to wrestle with. There's just too much of it given away for free, and people aren't paying for it. And you have to pay for quality, and there's a lot of stuff online isn't really good quality. So it's I don't know. It's too bad that the internet didn't have it set up like the libraries. You knew which section you're in. You're in the fiction or you're in the non-fiction, right? And online, it's all mixed together, and I think that's a problem.
With a printed paper comes a fixed deadline. With online news, you should have had it up 5 minutes ago.
Online, it's a little bit harder to track changes to the stories. It's really hard to capture that snapshot at that time because it changes. And you're gonna have to print it out and hold it up and say, hey, this is what was published online. You can go, some media places, they change the stories and you never even know they changed it, right? So you might read it yesterday, but tomorrow it's gonna be changed. In the paper, you had to live with what you printed.
Do stay tuned to Cogeco News, as on Friday, Dale's last day, we will go back and look at some stories that left a mark on the veteran newsman. For Cogeco News, I'm Clarke Heipel.